right.
We're live.
We are live. Hey everyone, what's up? Sketch here, joined by Unishek. We are back for a community live stream. It's been a hot minute. We remember our plans got thwarted for that last community live stream. We had that network outage in the whole building. So we are excited to be back. As you could probably guess from the little teaser there in the intro, and even the art around us, we are moving into Banished territory. We are going to give you all a look at what's coming next week. On Tuesday, we'll be shipping our next free update for Halo Infinite. But before we jump into that, a couple cool things that you may not be aware of because they just happened right now in real time. 2 new maps are available on Infinite. So first one we shared and showed off a bit ago. This is called Corrosion. I believe you will find this map available right now in a 24/7 Corrosion playlist for a short time.
Yep, Corrosion 24/7 live now. You can jump in, play as much of it, get your eat your heart out, dive in, and get to dive into some acid pools as well.
Yeah, I don't know about literally diving into that acid because it does actually hurt you, but I'm excited to jump back in here. As we were discussing yesterday, last time I played this was when we were working on some capture content here in the room with the crew for, I guess that would have been the Yappening operation trailer. So it's been a little bit coming, but Corrosion is now available. You'll find that in Halo Infinite's matchmaking as of right now.
Yeah, that's a fun 4v4 map, a little bit of the social aspect with vehicles on it, right? I'm always a big fan of the vehicles coming into the 4v4 gameplay. Should be fun.
A little bit of everything. So love for y'all to check that out. Let us know what you think. And of course, as a reminder, the Yappening operation is still live, and you have until next Tuesday morning to finish working your way through that reward track if there's still things you want to get. We also have another map that went into matchmaking today. This one's a bit different. This is a update to the ranked playlist.
Yep.
We know this is something we've heard a lot of feedback. We know ranked players have also been very eager to get some additional content. And we are excited to welcome, this map is called Interference. Might look a little bit familiar to you, John. I think this one draws inspiration from the past.
Yes, this is the rig from Halo 5, brought into Infinite by a member of the Forge community. You can see right there, Carlos, Astro, CSF, Frutos, jumped in, wanted to make rig from Halo 5 with a lockout aesthetic. And you can really see it in this shot, how it's got those lockout vibes, and it should play phenomenal just like it does in Halo 5.
Yeah, so this is available in ranked as of right now. Also, the HCS team does have plans to add Interference. I believe this will be the first community-made Forge map to enter the Halo Championship Series official lineup during the Halo Infinite era. So if you head to Halo Waypoint or check out HCS on social, a blog went live yesterday, a little bit more information about the map. But like John said, I want to give a shout out to Carlos Frutos, thank you for building Interference and sharing it with us, and we hope ranked players enjoy going around there and racking up some slays today.
Yeah, should be fun. Yeah.
Now, though, I think what folks really wanted to talk about is what's new and what's next. So we're going to shift gears, and we're going to look forward. Like I said at the start, Halo Infinite's next update's coming on Tuesday, April 30th. So we're 1 week out. Teaser kicked off yesterday, so a lot more information will be forthcoming over the next few days. But today we just want to give you an overview of what's coming. Of course, there is a new operation, which we'll take a closer look at, but we have a couple other cool features that we're very excited to share as well. And to do this, we are going to transition into a bit of a live demo here. Typical caveat, this is a pre-release build. We're in a live and build environment. We're actually... We want to know how the sausage is made. We're actually in real time right now in parallel. This build is going through the certification process on its way to eventually land on your PCs and Xboxes next week. So fingers crossed none of that interferes with our live stream today, but you never know. This is the reality of real-time game dev.
And we're doing it live.
Speaking of, I see some cable swapping happening just off camera, so I'm just kind of looking around the room, making sure everything looks okay. We're good, maybe?
Okay.
Sorta. Hold on. We're going to hold for a second. So let me look over here at chat and see if there's anything. Yeah, I do want to. I apologize for folks. We don't have drops enabled, and I don't believe we said drops are enabled. So I'm sorry if there's some confusion out there. When we can, we do try to hook that up, but there are not drops enabled today, so you're not missing anything. But hopefully we can try to get that hooked up for future live streams. It's when we can, we do. It's not something we're able to do for every live stream. I feel like we might not be getting some video output, it looks like, all of a sudden, even though it worked 20 minutes ago.
That's doing it live. So my feed is on
Okay, well,
and working. Would you want to drive on mine?
And we eventually still need 2 machines probably for this, but let's see. So
you can drive on mine.
All right, so we can still the show will go on as we will try to see behind the scenes what we might be able to do to solve why my PC is not showing up on stream.
They usually just don't want to show your POV.
They are.
So.
It is true. Oh, we're getting the thumbs up.
Oh,
we're back.
okay,
we're back.
okay, we're
All
back.
right,
We're
I'm gonna
back.
give you a
Okay.
controller. We're back. It is true. During the play dates, I don't need my POV shown. I actively asked for them not to show it, but thankfully, you're not going to have to watch me play today. So here we are on the UI. A couple things may look familiar. A couple things may look new. I want to jump right into a new feature that's coming out next week. We hinted at this. We talked about it in the past. I'm going to start by, I'm navigating over to the shop. Just bear with me here. But I want to draw your attention to right here in this upper left corner. We are excited to be welcoming the exchange to Halo Infinite. So MCC players probably already have a good sense of what this is because this feature and functionality was heavily inspired by what's on offer in MCC. But this, I'm going to click into it here. This basically is a new supplemental, I'm going to call it a shop front. Bear with me though, except instead of using real life currency, you will be using Spartan points, which I think our progression team, they refer to this as a soft currency. So Spartan points are earnable. You will play the game, you will earn these. They'll kind of go into your wallet. You'll be able to hold on to these and then use them in the exchange to acquire customization content.
Yep. Another thing you can earn via just gameplay.
Yeah. Now, the exchange has a couple goals here, and these are addressing some feedback that we've heard from players really since launch. One, obviously, players always would love more ways to earn content. So that box is checked. Also, a lot of content has come to Infinite since it's launched, and as a lot of people have given feedback and sort of expressed their disappointment around, some of that content has never come back to the game. I'm really referring to like our original events, for example. Some of the promotional content, some of the award rewards. So for example, this Platinum Anniversary coding, people that logged into Infinite, I believe it was live about the first 2 weeks when the game launched, got this coding for free. If you weren't there for the first 2 weeks, we've never had an opportunity for you to earn this since. So the exchange is one way that we can bring back content from the vault that players may have missed out on and make it available again. I do want to specify that this would be specifically bringing back free content. So what you're not going to find in the exchange is I bought something from the shop in Season 2, now it's being offered in the exchange. We're not going to mix those two streams. The premium side will stay premium, but we have so much other content. If you really stop and think about
so many events over the years.
All the events that we've run since launch, even some of the Twitch drops that we've offered.
Marketing promotions.
Some of the marketing and promotion type of things that weren't even available sometimes outside of North America, for example. So there's a pretty big pool to tap into. However, there's also some stuff that the team just has that's net new. So the exchange is really meant to be an opportunity to earn content you may have missed out on before while also providing some net new content in addition. So this coding, for example, Xanadu Falu, this has never been offered in the game before. It's net new. This will be here in the exchange.
And for people who are like a completionist like me who want to collect as much as possible, right, from the customization flow, it's really nice to have something I can grind and work towards and continue checking off those boxes, right? Like the Halo 5 rec system, you could eventually get everything.
Sure.
Right? Through this, with the exchange, you can start chipping away at that backlog of those items you might have missed in the past. It's
yeah,
really,
so I'm
really
just
nice.
kind of scrolling through here. I think we've got about 21 items that will be in the exchange at launch. And the current plan is roughly, by the way, too, I got to call it the Needle Minder. This is an awesome, it's a brand new attachment. We haven't offered this in the game yet, but this is an example of kind of one of the new, in my opinion, like this is my chase item. I really want to go after and make sure I acquire this because it's just novel and cool. And who doesn't want to run around with the giant pink spike through their head? But we're going to have about
a nice reference. With
about
that
21 items will be available in the exchange when it launches next week. And the current plan is roughly every 4 to 6 weeks. So basically, whenever a new operation will launch, you can expect the exchange content to refresh. So we should see a steady stream of content, like we said, a mix of old and new. and players will just have the opportunity to kind of go for what you want. And of course, you're also free just to save your Spartan points up. If there's nothing that you want right now, just bank them, hold on to them, and wait and see what's coming next time.
Yep.
But we got everything from emblems to, I think there was a death effect in here. We got backgrounds, we've got coatings, we've got weapon
Wrist
charms.
attachments. Yep.
So pretty nice little variety. Next thing I want to just touch on is, how do you earn Spartan points? Where do they come from?
I saw someone in the chat while we were on the main menu. They were like, SP, what is that? It's like, how do you get it?
So like I said at the start, Spartan points, think of it as a new type of currency that you'll use exclusively in the exchange, that is all available directly via gameplay. So we basically have, bear with me here, let's go over here to play. I'm a little bit cut off, but there's 3 primary vectors by which you'll be able to acquire Spartan points. The first of which, your first daily challenge that you complete every day will automatically award you 250 Spartan points. At the end of the week, going forward now, Ultimate Rewards will offer Spartan points. Again, we've kind of made the decision here, instead of forcing a reward on you that we've deemed cool or that we think it's worth earning, we're now just going to give you the currency and let you have a little bit more choice and decision over what reward do you want to get out of what's available. So we're excited to sort of make this shift, and I think that is a key piece of feedback we've heard, is players just don't always agree that the ultimate reward that we think is cool to them. So
not quite ultimate enough.
Yeah. And hey, let's be honest, sometimes they really maybe haven't been. So the hope here is that players just have a little bit more control and can really hone in on what you want and what matters to you. So your daily challenge, ultimate reward, and then the third tier of a significant amount of Spartan points will be the Operation Pass itself. So I think with that might be a good time for us to jump into the Operation Pass, and you'll get a little better sense of what I'm referring to. So I've already given myself the pass and completed it, so it won't let me activate it here.
You played all through the 20 tiers already?
I've been
grinding?
busy in the internal environment. So what we're looking at now, this is the Banished Honor operation. This will go live in the game next Tuesday. As always with our operations, it is free. We do have the standard premium upsell option available as a convenience for players who are interested.
Which gets you the permanent unlock for the battle pass.
Correct. So you get a couple things,
pass,
right? Yeah. Right away, you'll get this Fuego Flame bonus coating, and then, like John said, it'll also make your Operation Pass durable. So even if you don't complete it in the month available, it's still yours and doesn't go away. And you'll also get that extra challenge slot activated while you're premium Operation Pass. But by the way, it's all optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. So let's jump in here. I'm going to do our normal. We'll just show you what the 20 tracks are. But I really want to emphasize a lot of the things that a lot of people in the community maybe would have once referred to as fluff.
Yeah, filler.
Just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Has now been replaced with Spartan points. So we really are trying to shift the model here. The team wants to give players a lot more agency and control to just have more flexibility to go after what matters to you. So you're going to see as we go through here, there's a lot of points, a lot of tiers in this pass are dedicated to Spartan points. We get to tier 5 here. We have our first piece of armor geo. We got some knee pads, more Spartan points, a bigger drop of 2,500 Spartan points.
Nice.
Another nice forearm pad here. I think this looks like it matches the hip attachment we just looked at a minute ago that was in the exchange.
Yeah, and these Banished armor pieces, they fit the Banished Honor theme, and they look stellar, as you can see that awesome knife
more blades,
chest attachment.
Right?
Who doesn't want more knives? Yeah.
And I think philosophically, when we talk to the team, I believe in general the goal for the Operation Passes is try to give players one complete look for their Spartan, and then generally can now expect the rest of it to be an assortment of Spartan points that you'll be able to bank and use as you see fit. I'm a big fan of these shoulders. Not so much in this Cadet Blue, but they look really awesome in some of the other coatings. I think you're rocking them on your Spartan, which we'll look at here in a second.
Yeah, and it's nice with cross-core shoulders. A lot of this stuff was initially made for Mark 7, right? But now with cross-core shoulders, helmets, all that stuff, you don't have to worry. You can place it on any core, and you'll be able to look banished and awesome.
And then we get up finally into tier 20, and this is where we see this really cool champion sort of Banish-inspired helmet, which I'm a big fan of.
I'm rocking
and then
that
there's
right
a
now.
nice little visor to go with it. So that, in a nutshell, is the Banished Honor Operation Pass. And
So-
because I've already completed this, you'll note it's basically netted me about 15,000 Spartan points from end to end from completing. I do want to say this is the team's starting point. As always, I want to just be transparent. We're going to be watching the data, listening to feedback, and the progression team's always sort of looking and finding ways and opportunities to optimize. So we're really excited just to get this out there as a big first step. It's been a long time coming, and see how you like it, see what areas we may want to dial in and tweak as we go forward. But the exchange will be available starting next Tuesday, and I believe there'll be a blog on Halo Waypoint tomorrow with a little bit more information, including a full rundown of all the launch content you'll be able to find on the exchange in case you didn't catch it all right there on that quick fly-through.
Yep, and we'll have blogs throughout the week with lots of good info.
We do have multiple things. We're going to deep dive into a couple different avenues of the next update over the next few days, so stay tuned to Halo Waypoint. Now we want to switch gears entirely, and we have another demo we want to shift into. This is also something that we have, we've spoken about this before. The time has finally come, so
launch this
we want to show. I'm going to launch this in real quick. We want to show and tell some cool stuff coming to Forge next week. So Forge is truly the gift that keeps on giving. We've already seen some amazing stuff coming out of the community. We've seen amazing stuff coming into matchmaking already. We've seen amazing stuff in the custom game browser. Really excited to give Forgers even more tools to work with to create even more cool stuff for the Halo community to enjoy together. So I'm loading in right here.
Yeah,
and
I was going to say, I'm talking about future blogs that are going to be coming out this week, but we haven't shown all the stuff for the blogs, including this Forge stuff.
We can talk about a couple things, John, that we're not going to be able to show while we're loading in here. This stuff's a little bit in the weeds for more hardcore Forgers, but we did think it was cool for Forgers. We have some new mode variants that'll be added to Mode Creator, so and that's now going to officially include Firefight, King of the Hill, Last Spartan Standing, and basically all the ranked modes will now be, those variants will be added to the Mode Creator, which we just released in our last mid-season, like whatever that update was called.
Yeah, in a recent update. Yep.
CU something. But the last update, we added the Mode Creator. Now the team's adding more modes within the Mode Creator.
Yep.
Also wanted to give a shout out that we have significantly expanded scripting options for extraction event nodes for the extraction mode. And then there's also just some cool new generic objects that should help Forgers creating new experiences. I want to highlight, again, not super sexy if you're not in the weeds as a Forger, but John, I'm talking about Deliver Point, Flag Spawn, Seeds, and Shrinking Zones.
Yeah, so all of those are objective items that you can use in normal gameplay, right? You load up a normal CTF match in custom games. It's got some normal kind of logic already tied to it. These generic objects allow a Forger to script very specific logic to it itself. The object itself does not have any logic. Now Forgers can put anything they want, tie it to that object, and allow for really cool gameplay experiences. So really cool power feature for Forgers.
So we're giving people more tools to make modes and experiences, but we're also going to give them more tools to make cooler maps and environments for these experiences to come to life. So let's go ahead and cut over to my camera here, guys, if we can. I'm inside the developer map Oasis, and you might remember a few months ago we talked about 2 new Forge palettes coming. Well, the time is here. They are both coming next week. John and I do not claim to be a professional forger, far from it. I have nothing but the utmost respect for forgers and the masters of their craft. It is, trust me, I know it's harder than it looks, and I know how much time it takes. But please humor me here. My goal was to take our new Alien Planet official palette and just lay out a bunch of the new objects and items to give you a sense of what that's going to be when this goes live. So this is the map. Again, don't judge me. My only goal here was let me just show the breadth of content Alien Planet palette is going to offer.
All the options.
I'm a big fan of this, John. You know, I've been kind of gushing about it, especially after I spent some time kind of really digging in. I get an immediate sort of Pandora, the planet from Avatar vibe. It's just really fantastical. There's some whimsy. I love the color palettes. It's a little different than what we have in Forge today. So a couple things you're seeing here on the wall, a little harder for me to show off in my space. There will be some new decals, things like that. And then, of course, tons and tons of objects. So we've got, we got wall vines. We've got mushrooms. We've got little coral-looking pods. We've got these weird I don't even know what
Plant
you'd call those
things, yeah.
things. Weird plants.
Yeah.
More weird plants. I'm gonna go over here where I put up some even bigger things.
Yeah, it does kind of. You said Pandora. It does kind of remind me of Genesis from Halo
Yep,
5.
for sure.
With some of these plants.
Yeah, and of course, all these. Oh, and we also have a couple new effects. So I was able to. I figured out how to drop these cool little like space pollen dust particles in here,
That
which
just looks so cool.
It's really cool. I mean, for me, this is like magic because I don't really know what I'm doing, and it was a fun. It was a fun journey into the depths of Forge, but this just gives you a bit of a sense of Alien Planet. If I pull up let me go back into my monitor Forge editing mode just to show Forgers how this will work. You will be able to find the majority of the Alien Planet materials under biomes in Alien Planet. So I was going to try to count how many different unique objects we have, and I wasn't able to do that, but I mean, you can just look at the list. It's absolutely insane. So I want to give a big shout out to the Forge team here. They've just put a lot of love into this, and you can see that this is going to be really cool for Forgers to put new spins on their maps. So yeah, that's Alien Planet. Anything else about Alien Planet, John, that we're not thinking about? Here's some of the decals I mentioned. They're a little harder to show. They're more subtle, but there's a whole bunch of stuff here as well. Yeah, I don't know. What else from Alien Planet? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You showed off some of the cool effects, all the different objects, or even just like a subset because there's so many, right? It just looks stellar.
Yeah, and I guess I come in a little closer here. If I, keep in mind, all this stuff is, I'm going to select it. All this stuff can just be,
scaled
up and rotated, manipulated, and all that fun stuff. That's how I made some of these giant trees. But yeah, that is the Alien Planet Flood palette, and that will be included in next week's update. Now, John, you also did a little cooking of your own to show off the other new Forge palette, and there it is.
Yeah, I took some time to build out a Flood palette showcase here. As you can see, it is quite disgusting, but the fans, everyone's been wanting a Flood palette for so long. I decided I'd take some time, build out something truly, truly gross to help showcase how good it is, how the Forge team put a lot of time and effort in. You can see how I've got flies kind of swarming around. I've got oozing and dripping and all these different objects all kind of taking over this base here on Oasis. So we have a Pandora.
Chat's calling for moist midship right away.
Yep.
So it's been the dream. If I don't see a moist midship in the custom browser soon, I will be disappointed.
Yep. And so in addition to the Flood palette, it's also got some we call them human brutalist. You've got rebar pieces that are broken that you can drop in. And you've got some concrete pieces as well that have seen better days, right? And for the rebar, this will help for if you wanted to make a Flood-esque infection map, right? You want to just have a small little pathway through. You can kind of make it so someone has to crouch through, and that's actually kind of what I did over here. Is make it so you funnel through into the smog.
Gross, man. It's just gross. I do love it though.
But I didn't want to just do one section, so I went and actually I actually set up a crouch spot right there. I set up a whole other section over here where the flood growth is coming out of the cave. It just started in here, and it just has taken over the interior of Oasis. And you can just kind of see how nasty and gross you can really get with this palette. The things are dripping on you. You're walking in, gonna have to clean off the armor afterwards. I added some smoke in here. We've got some new flood smoke effects, and it's really a powerful palette because you can scale these up or scale these down in really unique ways. So like I'll just click and grab here, and I could scale this down, right? And it's just it could be a small little thing I put on a wall to indicate like the start of an infection. And then you go deeper into a map and it slowly grows and you're like, oh God, it's taking over. And you can do this with all these objects, right? This could be a tiny little thing or it could be a big one.
I mean, the
And it
beauty
really
of
helps you.
all these flood objects can just be slapped on top of each other and just like,
Yep.
layered. So basically what I'm saying is I had a much harder job trying to
Yeah,
work with
that's
the
true.
alien
That's
planet.
true.
It had such a diverse palette that I had to sort of painstakingly place them, and
Yeah.
you just like puked up flood everywhere, and it looks really awesome.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. But tons of different objects you can have. I almost forgot about this. One cool thing you can do is when you're scaling it, if you want to, I'm gonna come down a little closer to the ground here. As you scale it, and you choose some axes, let me make sure I got just the vertical, and you want to do just that, you can kind of make it look like it's growing. And that's super gross to me. I'm like, I don't want to see the flood stuff grow off the ground anymore. That's too much. That's too much. I'm gonna bring it back down so it's a little less creepy. But yeah.
When is this going in the rank, John? It's really readable. It's very clean.
Yeah, I would love to see people have some Forge flood infected maps
why
make
not?
their way into any playlist, right?
I'm sure we'll see it.
Infection in particular always comes to mind, right? Naturally. But
Cool.
it just looks absolutely gross and amazing all at the same time. Here's a fly through of what I built out.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I think one thing we wanted to, again, this is a little bit dipping into the weeds for more hardcore forgers, but you might have noticed when we pulled up the Forge menu that most of these new objects had that MP designation after them. And my understanding is that that's used to designate objects that kind of have some predefined properties. So I think the main thing I want to just be upfront and make sure folks are aware of is that you will not be able to what's the word I'm looking for?
You can't swatches.
You can't swap colors and textures on these objects. They're
flood stuff. Yeah,
they're pre-built to be disgusting, and that's the way they're going to be. But as you saw, you can still scale and rotate them, but they're handled a little bit differently than some of the other palette objects that exist in Forge. Looks good, John. I think you just keep going, and eventually Oasis is entirely consumed by flood. But
I'd be all for it.
We won't sit here and watch you do that. I feel like that would be fairly boring. No offense. I do want to talk to you about gameplay, though, if you wouldn't mind. Do you have anything else you want to say about Forge, or can we?
No, I'm just scaling up
can
effects and stuff.
Can we change gears and talk about gameplay here for a second?
Yeah, totally.
So I got some notes from the patch notes, and I want to talk to you about some Sandbox Tuning updates, right? So a couple different things are going to be changing with this update that the team's been tinkering with. And I'm going to go down the list, and I'm just going to sort of call out a weapon to you, and then you tell me what we need to know about it, like what's changed, okay? First up, I have the Gravity Hammer, which I think we just did a round of tuning with the last update, but it's on the list again.
Yes. So after our most recent tuning update, we still were getting some feedback that the Gravity Hammer was a little too strong. It had a little too much range still. So we're going to be bringing that in a little bit more, right? We just want to make sure we're easing that power back, so it's not a super power weapon, but so it's still strong, right? So we're trying to be measured, take a smart approach with it, but you should see a Gravity Hammer slight nerf on range in the next update.
Cool. I mean, that'll help me in my Husky raid endeavors, hopefully.
Yeah. It is most noticeable in Husky raid for sure. Yeah.
Next on the list, the S7 sniper rifle. What's happening with that?
Yep. So this is just a small little quality of life update we're going to be doing. It's going to speed up its ready up time when you pick it up off the ground, off a weapon pad. So you're not sitting there fiddling with it as you pick it up. It's coming up ever so slightly faster, so it feels a little snappier. So like the most common use case I'd say is you kill someone, you pick up their sniper, and you want to get their teammate, and you want to make that really cool double. Sometimes it felt like it took a little too long. Now it's going to be a little bit faster, and you should be able to get those highlight plays since you're ready for it and you know what you need to do. We want to allow players to make that play now.
That's been what's holding me back. So this should really put me in that upper echelon of sniping. Cinder Shot.
Cinder Shot. Okay, so this one we love the Cinder Shot as a power weapon. It is very strong, but we have seen some frustrations around when you get pulled by its gravity effect. So we're going to be removing that gravity effect so you can kind of combat it and you have a little more control over your own Spartan when you're fighting against the Cinder Shot. It's still going to do a lot of damage, and it'll still be powerful. I think we're also slowing down the rate of fire ever so slightly, but it's still going to be a power weapon. You just won't get pulled when you are trying to counter against it now.
Also can be really annoying in Husky Raid.
Yeah.
I play a lot
Husky
of Husky
Raid. Just it compounds everything, because everything's so small, tight, and just action packed. Yeah.
All right, next on the list, the Spike Grenade. What's happening with that?
So they're all pretty small updates that just kind of, I'd say, remove some player frustrations. The Spike Grenade change is going to be, it no longer will detonate in midair. It's going to throw, and its detonation timer is only going to start once it lands on an object or a person. So you can throw it and trust it's going to behave like the rest of the grenades in the sandbox. And then its detonation timer is also going to be slightly shortened, because right now you see in like 4v4 gameplay, you stick someone and then it takes a little while for it to blow up, and while you're waiting, they kill you, So it should be a little bit faster there. So it's, you stick them, you get the kill, and hopefully they aren't getting the kill back on you in that same amount of time.
Cool. And I got one more on my list. This one hits close to home, but I think it's also another sort of nuanced change, and this would be the MK50 Sidekick.
Yes, yeah. So this one, it's, like I was saying, everything's pretty small and minute, but this one we are slightly reducing the rate of fire on the Sidekick. Now we know and understand that the Sidekick is meant to be this spammy pistol weapon that you can trust and rely on. So we're not going too far. It is a very slight reduction in its rate of fire. It should still feel the same and behave, but we just wanted to reduce those instances of you getting completely melted by someone who's spamming it really fast without too much control of their aim. We wanted to hopefully not have the spam happen as much.
Yeah, I mean, I was giving you a hard time about it when I first saw this note, because I love spamming the Sidekick, especially in Husky Raid. And for what it's worth, as a casual player, I didn't really I could barely tell a difference, frankly. So it still felt super fun to use, but hopefully people at the extreme ends of skill, it's really going more after that audience, I think.
Yeah, it shouldn't be super noticeable, but it should help reduce the pistol spam feel, I would say.
All right, so last thing on gameplay, if we cut back to our feed here, guys, cut back to my feed, if you don't mind, I guess. Where are you, by the way? Okay,
I'm walking.
Well, I'm going to splatter you, dude.
Hang on. I think we might be on the same team here.
Uh-oh, we are? How did that happen? How can I splatter you if we're on the same team? I'm trying to splatter you.
I'm going to change teams.
All right, change teams. Get off of Cobra.
Yeah, you were trying to hunt me down, weren't
I know.
you?
I was just it spoiled the fun. I was trying to surprise spot you. Now you're prepared for it.
Yeah, now you've given away your secret.
Now you know what I'm up to,
Yeah.
but I still want to splat you for the sake of our viewers. I think that they're demanding it in chat. They're saying, please splat Unishek.
That's exactly what they want. Yeah.
I don't. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, you see me.
All right. Well, I'm coming at you this way. And there it is. There it is.
Yep. So the final tuning update you will see with Banished Honor is the Plasma Pistol EMP, the Return of the King. It will now work on the vehicles in-game. Super stoked. This one, I've been way too happy for the team to get this implemented. It's been one of the most common points of feedback since launch around the Plasma Pistol. We wanted to make sure it was feeling more effective, more loved, and has plenty of utility. So we should see this go the distance, do some really cool things.
Good to see chat's excited as well.
Yeah.
They're also looking forward to the Return of the King, the Plasma Pistol's back. I don't know if I agree with it took 25 years for us to do that. That feels like an exaggeration there, chat. But yes, it's been a long time coming, and big shout out to all the folks that have been working on the tuning updates, and of course all of you for just keeping the feedback coming. Just keep chipping away at things and keep improving things. So this will all be available to you next week. John, I also have a couple of notes here. We don't really have a demo here, but I do want to talk about a few other things, a couple updates that are happening on the modes front, right?
Yeah.
So first one on my list here is we're finally able to kind of add some improvements to how we track scoring in Kingdom Hill Firefight.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the most common things around Firefight, the feedback that we got was, please let me get AI assists when I'm driving the Warthog for a friend. So wheelman assists are coming in with Banished Honor. We are also adding a base level of AI assists. If you're on the ground shooting at any type of AI, you'll get a base 5 points. The wheelman assist should be 10 points. So you should be getting points for contributing to any kills that are happening in Firefight as well. Very excited for that one. I've been playing a lot of Firefight King of the Hill. It's just mindless fun, blasting recently grunts, getting to blow them up, and now you get extra points for it. Should feel really good.
Okay, next mode update I want to talk to you about is Extraction. Some exciting changes coming to Extraction, so walk us through that.
Yeah, so Extraction, we've got multi-site extraction custom game option being added with this update. So if you're a fan of Extraction, you want to play it, it actually kind of reminds me of Halo 4. There was multi-site extraction in a few different playlists. You can now set multiple sites to be active, and that'll allow for really cool gameplay throughout the map. You can see it here, what it looks like in the custom game options. You just go find active sites under the extractions settings, and you can choose to have a few different sites active all at once. It should be really cool. Trying to manage one, right? Attack one while you're defending the other, converting. It's really cool and should allow for some fun gameplay. I'm excited for it.
Excellent. And this next one, I guess, isn't so much a mode change, but it's a pretty sweet quality of life update for ranked players in particular. And this is a change with how we're going to deal with uneven teams at the start of the match.
Yep. So in the rare case where you get a 3v4, you load in, or somebody doesn't load into the match, we didn't want to have that match have to be played out. People are in a dead man walking scenario. It just doesn't feel good for anyone involved. So now with Banished Honor, we're adding logic to detect should there be a early dropout, and it'll start auto-ending the game. It just says this match is not competitive. It's not a quality match. We're going to end it. So you're going to get hit with a splash screen right here. You can see an example of it. It says teams are uneven. Match is going to end. No matter what the score, it will not impact your CSR, and you can go back to matchmaking. The game will automatically end. It starts like a 5-second countdown or so, shuts it down, brings you back to matchmaking, and you can just start searching again. So should really help improve any of those instances should you be in what we would call not a quality match.
Yeah, love that. And I know players have been looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
This next one on my list, I'd also put in that sort of quality of life bucket, maybe a little more nuanced, but this has big implications. Talk to me about match score overrides.
Oh, yeah. This is a really cool custom game option. It kind of serves two different purposes in very unique ways. One is, at a high level, what it does is it allows you to change the starting score of a custom game. So whatever it might be, in this example, I think we had a ranked Slayer match, and you say, hey, that other team had 21 kills, right? In a, let's, for example, say a tournament restart scenario, right? So we can set them to have 21 kills right off the bat, and then we could set the other team to having however many kills they had. So then when we want to restart the match, we have them start at those same properties, and it's really cool for a tournament restart. The other purpose I was saying is, earlier before the stream, is it can work as like a cool giving your teammates an advantage, right? If I wanted to 1v1 someone and be like, oh, I'll spot you 10 kills.
You'll spot me 24.
Yeah, I'll spot you 24 in a 1v1 to 25, right? So you could do some really cool things like that. Give someone a 1 flag lead, a certain amount of time or rounds won, right? We don't even need the full 5 rounds, we'll spot you 2 rounds, and you can do some really cool custom game options that way if you're just having fun doing party games with your friends. So helpful in both of those scenarios, and I was very excited to see that because that's the first time that's ever been in any Halo game.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'll take you up on that. Spot me 24.
Oh, okay.
You think I can get? I think I can get 1 before you get 25.
Yeah, I think. I think you it just takes a sticky, to change the game.
I got a few more things on the list. I know there's a lot of minutia here, but I think each one of these kind of gets at a core sort of, I don't know if I'd say pain point, but an opportunity or a frustration that players have expressed or that we've experienced. And again, these are just little areas that the team keeps chipping away at as we try to improve your overall experience. So death cam improvements. I know we just did a
yep.
round of these with the last update.
Yep.
There's been more feedback and there's more refinements coming.
Yeah, so when we rolled out our death cam updates last year, we got a lot of feedback around making sure we can improve that experience. And one of the most common things was making sure when you swap to a teammate, it is pointing to where your teammate is pointing at. So that's coming in Banished Honor. You will also be able to rotate the camera faster, which was another point of feedback, and rotate the camera around your body. So when you die, it previously or right now in retail, it follows whoever killed you. Now it'll follow whoever kills you until you put a manual input in, and then you can start looking wherever you want and giving your teammates that information. So you can, like previous games, you can start scouting out all that information and being a really good teammate, calling it out and making sure your teammates can make the best and most informed decisions while they're in those intense matches.
Those comms become even more critical
Exactly.
to strategic outcomes there.
It is a skill, knowing where to look with your death cam, right, at the highest level.
I told you my problem. I just don't think I've died enough to really even know what I'm
you haven't
missing,
seen it
so,
yet in your tests. Yeah.
Okay, next on my list here, the weapon drills. Specifically, we've had some feedback since the Bandit Evo was added. People wanted a way to practice with the Bandit Evo.
Yep. So now when you load into the Bandit weapon drill, you should see both weapons there in the the firing range. You can go ahead and pick up the Bandit Evo and get your practice in there. I've been using the firing range for a lot of my warm up especially before I go into ranked. So this is going to be really nice for me. Yeah.
Okay. We're almost done. We're going to wrap up here in just a minute, but we're not going to go through an exhaustive list of bug fixing. We will have a full patch notes, obviously, that will be released on the support site next week. I did want to just hone in on sort of one bucket of sort of improvements, and this is a hot topic in the community, something that I know you and the team have been working on for a long time, and these are things that would fall into the realm of networking.
Yep.
Now, I know we have a couple areas coming in this update, but we do want to stress that safe to say the networking is an ongoing thing that the team is continuing to evaluate. Some things can be addressed quickly. Some things take longer.
Yep. Some are longer investigations even.
But I just know how hot this topic can be amongst our players. It's a big topic here. I just want folks to understand, there's not going to be a silver bullet update next Tuesday that alleviates any individual's grievances. This is just going to be a methodical thing. So please kind of bear with us in that regard. But I just didn't want folks to expect suddenly we've changed the network model again. We're now sort of in a refinement phase. So John, on that note, the skewer and how it behaves in the game was, I think, one of the largest standouts after the network update. So how are you addressing that?
Yeah. So overall, network update, really positive feedback. We have survey data that confirm that from players active, new, and returning. So it was really cool to see. We saw a lot of the hype around it on its launch week, but then after you get into those later weeks, you start seeing the feedback, you start seeing the bugs emerge, and that's when we really got to start diving in with the team, the networking team, on what can we go after to improve it even more. And Skewer shots were feeling a little delayed, right? Especially on those higher latencies. So what the team is doing is making an improvement there. And you'll see that with the Banished Honor update, it should feel a little bit better. I don't want to say perfect, but you'll see an improvement on the Skewer shot. It should feel a lot better. When you pull the trigger, it's going where you're aiming. And so that's just one of the improvements. And we had a few others landing. But like you were saying, we are going to continue making updates for sure.
Yeah, I have notes here that a change was made to the weapon drop mechanic, so it's no longer going to be faster than it would be to swap to a secondary. I think that was a bit of a unintended side effect of some of the network changing.
That was a previous bug in Infinite that came back when we swapped over to the new networking model, and now with Banished Honor, we've got the fix in for it. So rather than you throw your weapon down and the secondary comes up faster, it should take roughly the same amount of time, and it should mimic what was in the game before.
Yeah, so people shouldn't be gaming weapon drops as the way to change weapons.
Yeah. And it was more noticeable, I would say, in the old
Yeah.
settings when it was there was like a mangler meta where you two-shot with the mangler, drop it, and then finish a player with the BR in ranked. So it was a little more problematic before, but we still wanted to make sure we did our due diligence and fixed it, patched it up.
And this last one, I guess, seems minor. I haven't encountered it, but I guess sometimes there's an instance where a vehicle may indicate that it's in the doom state when it's not.
Yeah, this one, very, very rare, but there are times where you could have your vehicle say, oh gosh, it's time, we're going to blow up, get out, and it's doing its doom state, but it wasn't actually in doom state. And that happened because of some weird complications on how it was taking damage in on the server and how it was taking it in on the client. So now we've brought those closer together, and that should not be happening. You should always be able to trust when your vehicle is telling you to get out. That one was super rare. I think like I brought it up to the team internally because I hit it, and then I think I saw one other community member like tweet out about it. But I was really excited that the team was able to take that feedback to heart, jump in, dive in, and fix it up.
Yeah, I think that's just an example of what I was trying to get at. Some of these things are just going to be low-hanging fruit that's fairly trivial to just quickly knock out, but it doesn't mean that that's the only thing the team's focused on or that that's the only issue that they're aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to kind of reiterate and also just encourage people, please continue filing tickets if you have bugs you encounter or networking issues that aren't behaving the way that you would expect. Those tickets that you file through the Halo support site actually make a huge difference. Now, clearly the community team, we're out there, we're still looking at your feedback on social and forums and Discord, but the official support pipeline is our best way to get quantifiable, actionable information that goes right to the right people in the studio to then get sort of triaged and figure out how we can really go after it. So remember, anytime you go to aka.ms/Halo support, you can find ways to file bug tickets there. Additionally, too, cheating. If you encounter people in the game that are cheating, these reports that you file absolutely do help. It may not seem like it in the moment. It may seem like we're not doing stuff, but I can assure you that we have a safety and security team that are very busy, working very hard to keep up. But those reports do matter, and we really do appreciate you all kind of helping, being boots on the ground, front line, and bringing this to our attention, and that gives us a sort of a trajectory to go after. So please keep that feedback coming and keep those tickets coming, because it does allow us to go after the right issues and get the insights we need to put together a plan. So thanks for folks that have been doing that, and please keep doing that.
Yeah, like to the Halo support tickets note, the combat workshop we did with networking back in December through January, extremely helpful when we had tickets that had videos attached to them. People broke down what they did and like how it happens. It's always super valuable. It gives our team a great starting point, and we can dive in from there and immediately get to how do we look into the code, what's going on here, rather than trying to just figure out without any context what's going on. It's super helpful.
Yeah, also I should give a shout out to anyone that's in the Halo Insider program. Obviously, we haven't really had large-scale fighting in quite some time. Someday we will. That'll become more valuable in the future. But in the meantime, our partners in the Xbox user research team pretty much every month send out variety of surveys and inquiries into different parts of the Halo Insider population. And that is also super valuable data for us. So if you're interested in offering official feedback through that mechanism to help shape current and future franchise initiatives, I'd really encourage you to head over to HaloWaypoint.com and sign up for Halo Insider if you haven't already, because pretty much every month we got something going on there. The last thing I want to touch on before we close out this, did I miss something?
I was just going to say for networking updates, just kind of the overall like approach is to continue to fix bugs, right? Make it feel like Halo, right? We wanted to make sure it's a more consistent online experience, and we wanted to make sure it feels more and more like Halo games that fans know and love, and then obviously address any exploits that people might find, right? A lot of different things that we want to go after over time, but the team is definitely aware and going after all of those.
Yeah, awesome. And thanks for calling that out. Okay, so playlists were the last thing I wanted to quickly touch on. Give a shout out to the playlist team. They couldn't be here today, but they did send along some notes. Two things we already mentioned at the start of the show. Corrosion 24/7 is now available on matchmaking. That features a new map, Corrosion, literally 24/7. That's live now. We also talked about Ranked has received the new map with Interference, which is available as of today. Let's see. Next week, we should see a BTB Heavies refresh go live. So this is the Heavies variant of Big Team Battle, but it will now include the sort of assortment of community-made Forge maps that we added
into Big Team Battle
I
with the
forget how long
BTB
ago
refresh.
that was, about
yeah.
5 weeks ago. It
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago, but all those maps are now sort of paired up into the Heavies environment, and you'll be able to go and enjoy that. So that'll be available starting next week.
They've got their Heavies version. Super nice.
And then I'm super excited about this, looking a little further out. So later next month, so later in May, you mentioned the Combat Workshop before. So this is a really cool experimental playlist that allows the team to sort of put things in there that maybe aren't 100% ready for prime time, but we want to get more feedback on. We want to kick the tires. We want to put it through iteration loops and just sort of let players hammer it and give us feedback. So super excited to announce that the next Combat Workshop experience that we'll be offering will be in partnership with the Forge Falcons community group, and we are going to be offering a Survive the Undead experience officially in matchmaking. So I believe this will be the first community-made PvE-based experience coming into matchmaking. So here's a look at some amazing key art the Forge Falcons created and shared, kicked over to us. So I know the Forge Falcons and the playlist team have been working on this for quite some time to get it ready. But super excited to be able to just officially jump into this experience in matchmaking when it hits the workshop in a couple weeks. So that'll be something cool to look forward to.
I'm ready to jump in already. I don't want to wait.
And I think that pretty much brings us to the end of our live stream. So I want to just recap a couple things. Our next content update, including the Banished Honor operation, free, lands in Halo Infinite next Tuesday, April 30th. Today and through the rest of this week, you'll see a couple more blogs landing on Halo Waypoint that'll just dive a little deeper into some of the things you've already covered. You can learn more about the exchange. You can read more about the Forge changes, about the gameplay and sandbox updates. Take a closer look at some of the customization that's coming. So stay tuned to Halo on social and Halo Waypoint in the coming days if you want to learn more about that. Meanwhile, we've got basically a week left to finish the Yappening. That's live right now. So if you haven't played it yet or you still want to, jump in there, play whatever you want, go play some Gruntpocalypse, but you still have time to finish your Yappening Operation Pass and get those free items that you might be interested in.
Yeah, I think I am almost done, if I'm not done already. I got to check.
I'm close, but I will be done after I play some more Husky Raid this weekend. John, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I guess yes.
All right.
Just really excited to make sure we have an update alongside this operation that has a lot of things that players have been asking for, right? It's not just customization. There's a lot of cool features, flood palette, Forge additions, quality of life updates, that weapon tunings, lots of things that players have been asking for quite some time, and we constantly are going after them bit by bit and bringing the quality of the gameplay experience up with every single update. So just really excited to continue seeing that improve with every release.
Yeah, I think that's a great note, and that I was going to mention something similarly that, for one, I always appreciate the passion of the Halo community, and that's not just lip service. That's, having been a part of this for close to 25 years, I don't believe there's any gamer community like it. That said, I know we're all passionate about different things, and we're not always going to be able to satisfy what everybody wants all the time. And that's probably one of the hardest parts, I'd say personally, about being in this position, about having the responsibility of kind of being somewhat of the conduit between the development team and the player base and community is it's never fun when you can't completely deliver everything everyone wants all the time. So I appreciate the feedback. Don't let the passion die down, but just know, people here are trying hard. Like John said, we're going to keep working at it, going after it. Different updates are going to come in different shapes and sizes. Sometimes it may be something that you really like. Sometimes maybe you don't care. But we're trying to think about the broader benefit of the entire game and everyone playing. And like we said, too, some things are easier than others. Some things takes more time. I didn't mention this, but I did want to acknowledge we also teased the match composer a while back. I did want to at least let you all know that's still happening. That's still in development. It's not coming out next week, but it is getting closer. So I imagine that will be coming in a not too distant update. That'll be another really exciting feature that we know you all as well as us are very eager to get into the game and really start to unlock more control over playing the way you want to play in matchmaking. So really, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the studio that's still working hard on Infinite. Thank you. It's going to be a cool update. And thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for keeping the support going. Please make sure to file those tickets at the support site when you can. And that's all I got. So we hope to see you online. And we're ready for Banished Honor. It arrives next Tuesday, April 30th. We'll see you then.